What is up, YouTube? This is your boy, Good Dream. Everybody, happy New Year and best of luck to all that. It's officially 2020 now. So, what I look forward to 2020? Good movies, wrestling and all that stuff. New games, which I did WWE 20 now for wrestling, which is awesome. For Christmas, look forward to the game before the playing, which I have done. Um, there's been some doubts with that game. From a friend of mine that has it, said there's been some major glitches in it. And all that stuff. Saying that, oh, don't recommend getting the game. It's not good. Well, I think it's for setup, but it's whatever. So I look at this game now as something that really can innovate it and make it awesome. That's good. Uh, with wrestling wise, I'm looking forward to some good matches this year. I think there could be some good stuff coming out. That'll be, from Raw for SmackDown. I think there's some good rivalry matches to come. And like I said, I think with looking at Raw, looking at SmackDown, I think Raw would be more what I want to go is competition, and think SmackDown would be more tag team division, just do sort of tag team matches, because I think that's pretty much where they're going with that. I think that's kind of a thing that they would stick with, and Raw would be more like, okay, here's some single matches, and here's somewhat of some tag team matches, but if it came to that, I don't know how that would really innovate the world, the WWE universe, and everything around it. Like, how's that gonna make it any better by just doing tag team straight up in SmackDown? I mean, it's like that's the most fucked up thing you could do, because that really doesn't make it any less entertaining. Like, okay, you just doing straight up tag team matches. What about United States Championship matches, or say in the Continental, whatever whatever brands it has its own thing. Again, you still want to see some good stuff, even different from more titles. I want to see more of that. I want to see a little more of everything, because we're not seeing a lot of it now going from Raw, because you're not seeing Lesnar come back much recently, but he'll be back next week. I'm like, that took him that fucking long to come back and say, okay, he's gonna come back and defend a title against Dino to a Rumble if he defends it or not. I mean, it's like it's a joke. It's been almost a few years since you've seen the dude come back since Money in the Bank, and now you expect all these years and New Year now, like it's gonna make any bloody difference if he stays champion or not. I mean, to me, I think he should just stay in the UFC doing something else, doing what he does, and that's that. I think you should have kept it as that. But I mean, looking at Lesnar's record of stuff over the years, it's really been accomplished for him as a wrestler. But I think as champion, it's a joke, because you expect him to defend the title whenever, however, and he can do it and whenever he can. But it seems like he wants to do it in his terms only. That's BS, because you really need a champion for Raw for the WWE Championship, and you really haven't had that. I mean, we have it more for SmackDown with the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, as the Universal Champion, and that's respect, because he's there to do it. And with Lesnar, you're not seeing that. You're seeing the lack of championship material coming up Brock Lesnar as the WWE champion, and he's not doing his job as well as he's supposed to. He's supposed to defend himself wherever and whenever, and he has not accomplished that goal. I think he's the lack of champion that we don't need in WWE. I think he should just become something else, become a tag team competitor, or stay a singles competitor and win some other championships. Who knows? I mean, that's kind of a sad situation where you really expect something out of Lesson, but you're not expecting anything else out of much of talent otherwise, but you're still expecting some good things. I've seen things with, Punk and Rollins, and that's been some talk. That's really nothing new to me. I'm just curious where the Usos been. Where's Naomi been for the last couple years or so? I mean, we know Nia Jax's been with ACL, so from what I've been hearing. Uh, where's Lars Sullivan? I mean, where's all that? Where's the good talent? We need that to come back. I think the Usos really stole the show wherever they went. First Raw, they were basically on Raw at this moment, got drafted to it. No one's seen them in a long time. I mean, no one's seen Naomi at all. I mean, it's like you see all these upcoming talent, and you don't see them anymore. It's like they just disappear. Like, okay, where the hell did they go? But they'll be back eventually. Hope. I mean, I want to see that. I would like to see AJ Lee come back, at least compete in one match in the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, at least to see that. Even if Punk doesn't compete at WrestleMania or anything of that standard, I can respect his wishes to stay doing WWE backstage and FS1 doing this thing, which is fun. I respect it, but I think it would be nice to see him in at least one more match in his career. I mean, he's got something left in the tank to prove, I think, but it's on his terms and his responsibility to figure out if he wants to do it or not, and that's up to him. It's not a forced thing. I don't think Rollins was really enforcing that at first when he heard about it, but it's like you not bash the guy immediately on social media, like, okay, you should come back, fight him, or something there, make a big deal of it. It would kind of be a big deal, but it's on Punk's terms. It's not like Punk's gonna immediately say, alright, I'm gonna fucking come back and kick Rollins' ass just because you said something. He's gonna do it on his terms and his way. Like, Punk wants to stay out of the spotlight, out of the WWE, out of wrestling for a good period of time. That's fine. He can, do what he's doing backstage, WWE backstage on FS1, do his thing, talk about what he needs to talk about with wrestling, and he's good. That's all we need. We don't need a big controversy over it, and I think that's what people kind of blow up on about it. Just in general, I think that's kind of a joke because, again, we know the guy can wrestle. We know he can do what he can, but we don't need him back immediately. I think within time, within reason, he may do it, but it's not going to be forced on him like it's going to be anytime soon. Like, oh, he's going to wrestle, Monday or Friday. No, it's going to be, if he does do it, it'll be in his terms and his terms only. I think that's kind of respect for him and for his family and for his wife and for everybody around him. I mean, that's good enough for me. You want to see that. You want to see that become something that really makes the universe awesome again and all that good stuff. I think it's something cool to look forward to. But I think one match I would like to see them bring back, I think everybody would want to see, would be uh, Three Stages of Hell. I missed that match. I think that match was really innovative in WWE. I think it really brought out a lot of within the company. I mean, you had street fights, you had extreme rules matches, a lot of matches. We still see all that, but I think this Three Stages of Hell match really made it awesome. I think that's something that needs to be innovated again. They bring that back. I would love to see it. I mean, he had street fight. He had one regular one-on-one match. He had a street fight, and a cage match. Usually they switch it up by doing a ladder match or regular one-on-one match and then a street fight and then a ladder match or a cage match. I mean, either one would be fine. I wouldn't complain at all because I think seeing three stages of Hell come back would be something cool to see because that's something epic that everybody would like to see. We've seen a lot of matches. We've seen Hell in Cells. We've seen Inferno matches. We've seen barbara cage matches. I mean, we've seen it all. But I think looking at Three Stages of Hell was the best thing they've ever did back in the Attitude Era. I think they really sold the show with Michael Triple H, everybody. I mean, that was a match that people love. People love to watch. People love to see. I mean, they really innovated the company to where it is today. Going to be, I think, history-wise, that made it awesome. And to see that match come back at least once would be worth it. I mean, to see that come to life again, to bring that back would be extremely worth it. It'd be good for any rivalry, anything, really any time. I mean, do for the women's, you can do for the men's. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, do for the women's first history ever. That would be epic. That would be the best thing I think for the company to do in any decade. That'd be pretty cool to see. Speaking of the women's division, the tag team women's titles, Asuka and Kairi Singh still have the titles at the current moment. I'd like to see this top be defended again. I mean, we see more of the women's championship belts be defended more than we see the women's tag team titles be defended at all. I think they kind of lack in that category now because you're not seeing much of that as we want to see. You're seeing less of it more than you want to see more. I mean, less of it really kind of sucks. You want to see more. Okay, let's see the women's tag team titles be defended in a lot of matches. They did Extreme Rules, but that was an okay match. That was just what it was. It was a match for the tag titles for the women's. It was good, but it could be better. I mean, you add, do a fatal four-way ladder match for women's tag titles. There's your match. But I think they need to innovate that more, get those titles defended more on brands. Let's see what they can do with that. Let's innovate it more. I mean, let's make it awesome. I like to see one or more rivalries with different people. We've seen Daniel Bryan and Fiend, fight, which we've seen that in the past. Rollins is part of with AOP now. He's going after Owens and Joe. I can see that being a team with Mysterio. Making that a team. I think, looking at AOP, Rollins, and You get the OC Styles and Carl and Luke Anderson. Um, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I mean, seeing those two teams go at it would be sick. Even the Street Profits, you have that. You can do a lot with that. But I think the one team I would like to see come back, well, not gonna happen, but would be the Shield. I think the Shield taking on. Well, no, Rollins is part of the Shield. Well, Rollins was part of the Shield. He's with AOP now. I think getting a new member for the Shield. You know, Reigns and some of the maybe the Usos can take it over. Let them, the Usos and Reigns go at it against the AOP, make that like the new Shield or something with those guys, and then see what that works from there. I mean, that'd be pretty cool to see that. There's like a lot of dream matches, dream tag team matches everybody wants to see. So I think it's kind of innovating the company where they need times for changing. It's a new year now. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can see from it. I mean, I would like to see GM. I would like to see general managers come back, but who's running the show? Who's running this? Who's running that? Really, it's like a free form right now. And I think they really need a GM for both brands. It makes sense. You can't have a show without GMs. Like, it really doesn't make any sense to not have somebody run the company. Run the talent, do this, do that. It's just like it's crazy. But the general managers made it fun, made it interesting, made it really cool to see. But now, everything, it's hard to change it. We need to see that again. But I love to see a lot. I like to see some good stuff come out of both brands. See what the new year brings. So go from there. As always, this is Big OG. I wish everybody Happy New Year's. Until then, I love him. See you.